Morning. How are you today? Whew. Take a chance. Try something new. And perhaps my least favorite of them all, step out of your comfort zone. Who has heard these terms more and more during your high school years from either your parents, teachers, peers, advisors, and more? Anybody? Yeah, Cole? Yeah. Lots of you. So to add on to that, I have another one for you. Anything can happen if you let it. Okay, very cheesy indeed, but it's true. And it's not mine, not in the least. It's from the musical production of Mary Poppins. And how do I know? Well, in the spirit of pictures past, that's me, as the character Bert from last summer. Now, I did try to walk out of there with that outfit, and I got caught and had to return it, unfortunately. But it was a jolly holiday indeed. So some may wonder, what is that weird college counselor hockey guy at age 46 doing in a theater production of Mary Poppins? Well, here's the how. In Frankfort, Michigan, at a small meeting house that seats maybe 300 people, a group called the Congregational Summer Assembly puts on a biannual musical in July. And in the summer of 2024, when auditions for Mary Poppins were taking place, I hesitated. I worried about time commitment. I worried about getting on stage for the first time in a long time. And of course, I wondered what my now adult friends would think about it if I did. All of those same things that so many of you may feel when debating on whether or not to pursue something that you want to do, but aren't sure you have the courage to do so. So I missed the auditions. And after missing the auditions and learning last fall that the production was still looking for more participants for male identifying roles, I contacted the director, Greg Abbey, and asked him if he would be willing to take a video audition, and he agreed. My next move was talking to Miss Wielden and Miss Hill to get some encouragement to lean into it. And then on a 70-degree September day, I found myself in room A215 in the Center for the Arts with sheet music, with Miss D'Angelo coaching my vocals while recording me with an iPhone, and Dr. Bruschi playing piano in accompaniment. And I must say, it was one of the more enjoyable afternoons I have had in some time. So after sending the recording to Greg Abbey, fully anticipating a reply via text, offering me a place in the chorus while doing props on the side, a few days later, the phone rang. Hey, Andy. Great audition, and we'd love it if you would play Bert. I'm sorry? Bert, would you be willing to play Bert? And there it was, the what did I get myself into moment, and I knew there was probably no turning back at that point. So I received the script. I was instructed to be off book by late June, watched countless Mary Poppins productions on YouTube, and over the next few months, while trying to learn lines, songs, and get ahead, I felt stuck in mud, regretful of the decision, and even tried to find a way out of it, contemplating that often. Then, the spring at Brooks rolled around, and two familiar and particular faces I saw on stage brought me back to a winter term experience from 2 years prior. Most of you were not here in January of 2023 when Miss Kelly and I directed Preps, a modern-day 30-minute spin-off of the Breakfast Club for a half-day winter term course. While Miss Kelly and I pretended like we knew what we were doing rehearsals and practice, trying to set a stage in the Black Box Theater, guiding kids through lines, asking them to show their emotions and portray their roles. It was the actors and students themselves who really took over the moment. A number of the students had athletic passions and backgrounds, and were splitting time between our class and a strength and conditioning class, and most of them would initially admit that they were trying to get in shape while being somewhere with Campbell and Kelly in the afternoons where not much at all would be asked of them. Totally fair. You'll see some recognizable faces up there. And other than Preston Wong, few, if any, had significant stage experience. But what Miss Kelly and I found is that each person immersed themselves in their characters, believed that it would be much more fun to put the energy into it, and they all simply let it happen. I think I forgot a page. But anyway, so then the last spring came around, and Hadestown was being performed. And I sat in the auditorium, and there was Tristan, and 2 years prior had been part of Preps. And then there was Nathaniel, who was also in the cast. And they were out there completely crushing it, as well, along with all of those from Hadestown, all of you that were in the play. We were nothing short of absolutely dazzling in all of the shows that week. And seeing all of you do that and reflecting back on Preps and watching Hadestown, it was inspirational. So if you ask those to give more, to let it happen, to put it out there, it should not matter if you are the employed adult in their lives that's expecting it from them. You have to instill that same principle in yourself, but more to go and do it to the fullest because it's an absolute kick of a time and how much fun it will be and how much fun it's been for all of you that have taken that chance. So in late June and into July of 2025, being Bert, surrounding myself in a company of players every afternoon in a musty meeting house in the woods of northern Michigan, other than any experience with Bailey, Riley, and Diana, I cannot recall a time in my adult life when I have had more energy, felt an urge to perfect something, have a want to do well, and honestly laughed and smiled more while working with an amazing group of people dedicated to putting on a show for their community. And when the 2 performance nights arrived, the house lights went out, and you're up there on stage with the bottom layer of your vision staring into darkness, and the only thing staring back at you is a giant blinding bulb from a spotlight with the most deafening whisper possible saying, "Go." That's when you're really alive. It's a feeling that so many of you that have done this know this all too well, yet something that as a middle-aged man, I never thought I could possibly feel again. So what's the point to all this? Well, first of all, a belated Thanksgiving, and thank you to all that have dared to be great at your time at Brooks. A thanks to those of you that have pushed yourselves in ways you never thought capable, that have inspired your peers, your classmates, and thanks to those past and present that inspired me to do something similar, to practice what I preach, to let it happen. Secondly, just a reminder that you are at a time in your life where you are going to be stressed, bogged down, under pressure. That will continue to a certain extent. But at the present, you are at a place where your choices of how you want to spend your time and with whom are limitless. Brooks is the school equivalent of the most bodacious salad bar that you see at a restaurant where options are so intense and incredible. So grab a plate, take what you want, leave the rest, but take the time to go back, get another plate, and evaluate. If you want the same thing again, great. If you want to try something different, do it. And in the 2, 3, or 4-year period that you are here, max out on all of it, and leave here completely fulfilled. BROOKS. Anything can happen if you let it. Ain't that the truth? Thanks. Have a great day.